Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of College and Career Coffee Chats with Delicia. I'm your host, Delicia Larcon, your resident hype tia, or your fellowship fairy godmother. However you would like to describe me as, I'm here for you. This is another episode of interviews and guest speakers coming in to chat with me about being a first generation, how to navigate imposter syndrome, how to navigate the world today in the work environment, the application process, the undergraduate admissions, and the graduate admissions process. We're here together to chat about it, to peel back the layers, to peel back the curtain behind what happens in higher education, to really provide the skills and the tools necessary to succeed in whatever that goal is for you. So make sure you have your coffee, your energy drink, or tea, whatever you want to listen in on this conversation between my guests, my colleagues, and my friends. And make sure you stay tuned so you can get access to all the free goodies and the gifts that I have created for you as it relates to training, about scholarships, about resume writing, about cover letter, anything that you need in the process. I've created some gifts for you so you can download those instantly and have access to the workbooks and the trainings. And stay tuned if you would like to join the Facebook group and the community to connect with everyone. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of College and Career Coffee Chats. Today we are going to talk about the Job Search Value Ladder, a framework that I teach students and one-on-one clients about how to approach the job application process, because there's so many different parts and layers, and sometimes we get lost in all of it. So I think it's important that we break it down into kind of three categories, and this is what I call the job search value ladder. So let's dig in. So on today's agenda and our goals are talking through mindset work for the job application process, because we know we get some imposter syndrome, we get some gremlins and people in the background saying, oh, you might not be qualified for this, why are you applying for this job? Or even yourself, right? The negative self-talk that we go through. So I want to encourage you and be your hype tia through this process. We're going to talk through the application value ladder and then what to do in the three different sections that I call the value ladder. So first, let's do some mindset work, some mindset shift. Number one, congratulations. Congratulations for deciding, number one, you want to pivot in your career. Number two, you want a new job. Number three, you're ready for grad school and you're trying to figure that out as well. And number four, you're ready for something new, or you recently graduated from college and you're ready to start that career journey. Wherever you are in your life and in your career, congratulations. And why do I say congratulations? Because we have to celebrate the wins. We have to celebrate the good things that are happening in the midst of everything else, because this is a win. You graduated college, huge win. You're ready for your next career move, huge win. That decision probably took months or years or minutes or seconds to make, or hours, wherever you are, and what has taken contemplating to get where you are now, congratulations. You deserve it. Make sure you celebrate your win today and figure out where you can celebrate more. Number two, I want to say you belong in these spaces. Whatever job you're looking at, whatever company you're looking at, institution of higher learning, grad school program, or you want to start your own business, or wherever you are in your journey, congratulations. And recognize that you belong in those spaces. Oftentimes in our lives, we get stories and stories from maybe people in our lives, family, friends, or on the internet, and we feel like we don't belong in certain spaces, or we've literally been told you shouldn't do this. If you really feel it within you that you want to do it and you want to follow that curiosity, do it, because you belong in those spaces, and we need you in every single space. If you want to be a change agent, if you have a dream or a desire within you and you want to make it happen, you have to do it. You have to. That's like our responsibility to do it, because it's within us. We have that kind of inkling and that nudge and that curiosity to keep going. So I want to remind you that you belong in those spaces. You should apply for that job, even if you meet 50% of the qualifications. And we're going to talk about why in a minute. Do it. I want you to do it. I'm proud of you. I'm encouraging you, and you deserve to be in those spaces. You are enough and you have what it takes. I bet you 110% you have what it takes. So let's let's pull back the curtain in the job application process and make it happen. And this is especially for my first gen BIPOC women of color, anyone who holds marginalized identity, LGBTQ plus, trans folk, um, however you identify, whatever marginalized identity you hold and you want to amplify, you have to do it. You must show up in these spaces because you are reclaiming, and this is part of your reparations work, and this is part of the revolution. This is part of the initiative to reclaim what has been literally taken from you. So the jobs, the grants, the pay that you should negotiate in a meeting, the fellowships, the grad programs, all of it. You belong, you deserve to be there, and that's on period. So make sure you have this in the back of your mind when you are applying to a job, when you're researching, when you're looking up things in graduate school program. I know it can be so overwhelming. I know. I've been there. And it's so hard because you feel like you're going down a rabbit hole. And this is why I do what I do, because I want to demystify and simplify for you. That's why I created this framework, and that's what we're talking about today. So celebrate, you belong, and you must do this. You quite literally, this is your reclamation and your reparations. So the first part of the job application value ladder is the resume. I know some people like scream and they're like, oh, the resume, no, I hate it. I don't want to do it. It takes forever. And then all of the stuff that we have to process comes out. Stuff that like we're not good enough, that we don't deserve this, that we shouldn't apply. All the gremlins come out, right? So we have to do the work of the resume because this is going to be your social proof that you can do it, that you can make it happen. This is your first impression and the foundation of your whole application. Your foot in the door, your elevator pitch, however you want to say it, this is the resume. You must have a strong resume to get to the next level of the cover letter, the interview, and the job offer. If you don't have a foundational good resume, you're not going to get through the ATS system. What is an ATS system? The application tracking system that kind of scans your resume when you submit it online. Old school, we could take a paper copy and give it to the person and hopefully they reviewed it. But right now, in the panorama world that we live in, we're destined and chained to the online system. So we have to figure out how do we strategize and stand out. On average, the recruiter has maybe 5 to 10 seconds to kind of literally, here's the resume, right? Quite literally scan it, see if it matches the job description, and put it down in a pile to throw out or to call in the next step. Because they are reviewing through so many that's the system, that's the game right now. So this is your little first impression, and it's the foundation. If you're building a house, right, you have to cement the foundation. And if that's not sturdy, then the whole thing is going to be wobbly. Your whole house is going to be wobbly. We don't need a wobbly house, right? So let's focus. This is why I focus so much on the resume, because it's your foundation. It's your first impression, your elevator pitch, like I said, and it's also your forward-facing personality. Even though there's a strategy to make it past the ATS system, it's also your personality, who you are, what are you going to bring to the company. So this is very important when developing your resume and writing it, editing it, revamping it. The next level or the next step in your value ladder is the cover letter. This is the second document you submit to apply for a job. Sometimes it's optional and sometimes they don't even ask for it. If it's optional, it's not really optional, my friends. You have to submit it. This is going to tell the company, the hiring manager, the department head that you are invested in applying, that you have the expertise necessary to do it, and you are ready to be part of this community. So you have to do it, even if it says optional. And then it's an opportunity to showcase your writing skills, your experiences in a personable and personal manner. The cover letter is another layer to your resume. It's not regurgitating your resume, but it's adding a story and the personality behind who is on this piece of paper, right? So your cover letter and your resume. Those are 2 for 1 deal to figure out who you are as a person. So it's really important that we really strategize for the resume, and then it becomes the next step in your cover letter, the second part of the value ladder. Now, the third part of the value ladder, which is also intimidating because you're like, oh my gosh, I finally got through the ATA system. I finally figured out my cover letter. Now the interview, right? There are typically 3 phases to the interview for a baseline application process. Obviously, there's more nuance and layers depending on where you are in your career. I'm speaking specifically to 0 out of 5 years out of college, recent grads, and if you're an undergrad still and graduating in May, June, or December, even wherever you are in your journey of undergrad, it really depends on the company, the organization that you're working with, are applying to, and what their internal processes are. But generally, rule of thumb, 3 steps in the interview. So, like I said, 3 phases in the baseline for a job application, but that changes based on company culture. So I split up the interview in 3 phases, right? Initial phone screening. So they say, yes, we love the resume. Yes, the cover letter. Yes, let's call them in. Initial phone screening. And this could be done just a phone or a Skype call or a Google Meets call or a virtual screening. Right now with the Panorama, it's taken a different form because we have Zoom and Google and Microsoft Office and all of these different, or Microsoft Teams, all of these different tools because of online learning and online work environment. So this might change based on company, but generally a phone call. So this is the first interview, maybe 15, 20 minutes phone screening to ask you basic questions, make sure you're still on task, make sure you're still interested in the role, right? Because sometimes we get a call like 2 months later and you're like, I already got a job, or I'm not interested in this company anymore. So that's the first screening. Then you're like, yes, I'm still in, let's do this. Second one, and they want to move to another phone call. And this might be the same person, either in HR or department head, or another person on the team. I once had a call. My first screening was actually for an interview with the VP because he was overseeing the process. And then the second call was with another person on the team. And then they invited me to an in-person interview. And an in-person interview is very nuanced, and it depends on the company, or if you're applying to higher education position to work at a university, that's a whole different ball game, right? Because there's corporate, there's also higher ed, but they're both different kind of interview processes. So in general, it could be in person, or in this case, virtually, and you're going to meet either one person or a team or a committee. And it depends on the institution. If it's higher education, for a grad school admissions interview or a position in administration or a professor, it's an all-day thing. You start in the morning with administration, in the afternoon with faculty, staff, in the afternoon even with students. It's a whole day ordeal. So keep in mind your interview stamina, because it depends on who you are connecting with and how the process is going to go. They might even invite you to another in-person interview, and virtual or in person, depending on what's going on now with the Panorama and where you're interviewing. There's a lot of nuance there. But for one of the jobs I applied to in New York City, I had 2 in-person interviews, and the third, they invited me for a third in-person interview, and then something happened and it ended up being virtually or a phone call. So it really depends on what's going on. So those are kind of the 3 buckets of interview process. And that's what I call the job application value ladder. So job application value ladder, 3, resume, cover letter, interview, and they each build on each other. If you need more support and want more help, download the resume audit checklist. I give you 5 resume writing tips, and also join the college, career, grad school Hype Crew for Delio Academy, where I hype you up. There's community people, and we hype each other up to make sure we're all on track and motivated to do what we got to do. Also, I created the Revamp Your Resume. It's a 4-module mini course that you can literally revamp your resume in a weekend. That is the whole motto behind it, because I believe that the resume is your foundation. If you have a good resume and you are feeling like an imposter, you don't know what to do, you can look at your resume and be like, oh, damn, okay, I did some things. I'm good. And this is going to motivate you. And I motivate you within these pre-recorded sessions to keep going, to go through the steps of getting your resume ATS friendly and ready to go by the weekend. So let's say Thursday, Friday, you're like, I need to get out of my job. The weekend, you binge watch a Netflix style. It's really short videos, tops 5 to 8 minutes each. And you can have it done by Monday. You hit submit on Monday morning and you're ready to go. Side tip, don't submit your resume on the weekend because those go at the end of the pile. Submit it Monday morning or Tuesday when when HR recruiters are looking through all the resumes and cover letters. So pro tip. So what is included in the Revamp Your Resume? You can see right here is a Trello board, a resume job tracker, an action verb list. I give you a checklist to make sure that your final resume is ready to go. I give you a Revamp Your Resume ATS friendly template that has served me in my experiences supporting students in higher education, but also my own career, right? I did with this system and this resume revamp program that I created for myself in my journey. I've gotten a role with Teach for America, the Fulbright grant, the Gilman Scholarship, applied to several jobs in the city. I worked in higher education. So there's some cool testimonials as to how this system works for students and my one-on-one clients. This is the exact system I use with one-on-one clients who work with me in VIP strategy sessions. I give you a master resume checklist, a Trello board to keep you on track with the PWSA system, right? So you're going to prepare, write, and structure, and then apply your resume. So check it out. All the link is in the bio. Let me know if you have any questions. And of course, if you need more, check out the College and Career Coffee Chats with me as your host. And I interview other people who are navigating their job search process. They're applying to law school. They're in higher education. They help students. And you get tidbits like today, where I do a little bit of training and coaching to get you on track and make sure you are doing what you need to do to be successful. These are my gifts to you. So again, thank you for joining me on this episode of College and Career Coffee Chat for the Job Application Value Ladder training today. And of course, let's get social. I'm on social media. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, join the Facebook group and LinkedIn. Drop me a message if you have any questions. Until the next one, my friends, and let me know what other topics you would like to hear. Adios.